Assume this scenario. A young emperor sits alone in his tent, writing by candlelight, while his armies rest. Despite commanding the most powerful empire in history, he writes not of conquest or glory, but of the daily struggle to master himself. The impediment to action advances action, he pens carefully. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius didn't know his private journals would survive 2,000 years, inspiring millions. He knew that true success, the kind that sustains itself through chaos and challenge, comes from within, and he wasn't alone in this wisdom. Today, we're going to unlock 6 ancient secrets of success, habits so powerful they've transformed lives across 2 millennia. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people seem unshakable, while others crumble under pressure? These rare individuals grow stronger. What's their secret? The answer lies in a philosophy that shaped emperors and enslaved people, a wisdom that turns obstacles into opportunities. I'm talking about Stoicism, but not the cold, emotionless Stoicism you might have heard about. No, this is the real deal. The practical philosophy that's quietly shaped some of history's greatest achievers. And here's what's fascinating. When you study the habits of highly successful people today, whether they're billionaire entrepreneurs, championship athletes, or groundbreaking artists, you'll find they're unconsciously following these same ancient principles. But here's the thing. Most people get it backwards. They chase success like it's something out there to be caught. The Stoics knew better. They understood that real success is built from the inside out, through daily habits that transform who you are. Let's start with the first habit: hard work, but not in the way you might think. Imagine a young man in ancient China. Every day, he would stare at a massive mountain near his village. While others saw an immovable obstacle, he saw something different. He grabbed a pickaxe and began chipping away at the mountain. People laughed. "You'll never move that mountain," they said. "Impossible!" The old man smiled and replied, "I may not finish in my lifetime, but the mountain is getting smaller every day, while my determination grows stronger. And I have sons, and they will have sons. The mountain doesn't stand a chance." This story traveled through Chinese history as the tale of the foolish old man who moved mountains. But most people miss something. It's not about the mountain. It's about what happens to you when you chip away at your mountain every single day. Epictetus, a formerly enslaved person who became one of history's greatest philosophers, put it this way: "Don't tell me what a man's principles are. Tell me what he does, and I'll tell you what his principles are." This is where modern hustle culture gets it wrong. It's not about working yourself to exhaustion. It's about showing up daily with purpose, knowing that each small action reshapes your circumstances and character. Think about that for a moment. Every time you choose the harder path, the early morning, the extra rep, the difficult conversation, you're not just working. You're building something far more valuable than success. You're building the internal strength that makes success inevitable. Now, let's talk about the second habit: patience. But I'm going to share a story you've probably never heard, one that changed the course of Arabic literature. Al-Mutanabi, now considered one of the greatest Arab poets, spent years of his youth wandering the deserts of Syria. He wasn't just seeking inspiration. He was learning the hardest kind of patience. Living among Bedouin tribes, he watched how they survived in the harshest environment on earth. The desert, he realized, doesn't care about your timeline. It demands patience not as a virtue, but as a necessity for survival. Years later, when he wrote his most famous lines, he didn't just create poetry. He captured a truth about success that most people never grasp. The desert knows me well, the night and the mounted men, the battle and the sword, the paper and the pen. What was he really saying? That mastery, true lasting success, requires you to embrace the waiting, the learning, and the seemingly endless preparation. Just like the desert tribes knew that rushing across the dunes would only exhaust their camels, you must understand that rushing towards success often takes you further from it. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote letters that would influence generations. In one, he observed, "No good thing renders its possessor happy unless they're prepared to lose it." Think about that. Real success, the kind that doesn't leave you constantly afraid of losing it, requires the patience to build foundations that can't be shaken. Look at any overnight success story, dig deeper, and you'll find years of patient preparation. The entrepreneur who seemed to come out of nowhere. They spent 5 years testing and failing. The artist who suddenly made it. They were practicing their craft while everyone else was sleeping. But here's the key that most people miss. Patience isn't passive. It's not about sitting around waiting for success. It's about finding joy in the process of becoming. It's about understanding that every skill you're mastering, every relationship you're building, and every small win you're accumulating are all coming together to create something greater than you can imagine. The Stoics had a powerful visualization exercise for this. They would imagine time as a river, constantly flowing. You can't grab the water and make it move faster, but you can build stronger vessels to navigate it, better tools to use it, and a deeper understanding to work with it rather than against it. So ask yourself, what if everything you're experiencing right now, the struggles, the setbacks, the seemingly slow progress, is not delaying your success, but preparing you for a level of success you couldn't handle without this preparation? Remember, the same heat that melts butter hardens steel. Your challenges aren't your enemies. They're the tools forging you into someone capable of sustaining success when it comes. Now, let's talk about something that most success gurus conveniently leave out: sacrifice, the third habit that sets Stoic achievers apart from dreamers. There's an ancient Japanese tale about a young samurai who sought out a Zen master to learn the secret of success. The master invited him for tea. As they sat, the master kept pouring tea into the samurai's cup. The cup filled, then overflowed. Yet the master kept pouring. Tea spilled everywhere. Finally, the samurai couldn't stay silent. "Master, the cup is overflowing. No more will go in." The master stopped pouring and smiled. "You are like this cup, so full of your own opinions, desires, and ambitions. How can you learn unless you first empty your cup?" This story isn't just about learning. It's about the fundamental truth of sacrifice that every truly successful person discovers. To gain something new, you must first create space by letting go of something else. Epictetus captured this perfectly when he said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Think about that for a moment. Are you willing to look foolish while learning? To give up your comfort zone? To sacrifice your current identity for the person you could become? But here's where most people get sacrifice wrong. They think it's about giving up things they love. That's not it at all. True sacrifice is about loving something else more. It's about having such a clear vision of what you want to become that letting go of lesser things feels natural. Let me share a story from ancient Africa that captures this perfectly. In Mali, a king named Mansa Musa lived and became the wealthiest person in human history. But before he was king, he was a student of wisdom. His teachers told him a truth that shaped his life. A bird that wants to fly high must first let go of the branch. Think about that. The branch isn't bad. In fact, it's comfortable and safe. But if you never let go of it, you'll never know how high you can soar. Modern research actually backs this up. Studies show that our brains are wired to hold on to what we have. It's called the endowment effect. We value things more simply because they're ours. This made sense for survival in ancient times, but today, this instinct often holds us back from greater achievements. The Stoics understood this at a deep level. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Get rid of the judgment. Get rid of the I am hurt. You get rid of the hurt itself." He was talking about emotional sacrifice, letting go of the stories we tell ourselves that keep us small. But let's get practical. What does this mean for you right now? It means that success requires clarity about what you're willing to give up. It could be the comfort of sleeping in. It could be the safety of a job you've outgrown. It could be the identity of being the person who never fails because they never honestly try. Here's a powerful question the Stoics would ask. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? Now let's connect this to our fourth habit, consistency, because sacrifice without consistency is just a temporary change. But when you combine them, that's when magic happens. There's a fascinating story from ancient China about how bamboo grows. For the first 4 years after planting, nothing appears above ground. Nothing. The farmer must consistently water and tend to apparently empty soil. The bamboo was building an elaborate root system underground during those 4 years. Then, in the 5th year, the bamboo suddenly shoots up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. The question is, did the bamboo grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? This is where most people's understanding of consistency fails them. They see the shot rising 90 feet and think, what a miracle. They don't see the 4 years of consistent, invisible growth happening beneath the surface. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught this principle through an unexpected metaphor. He said that philosophy, and by extension, any pursuit of excellence, should be like a fertile field, not a garden of pretty flowers, but a field that produces consistent, reliable nourishment. But here's what's fascinating. Modern neuroscience has proven that consistency literally reshapes your brain. Every time you repeat an action, you strengthen neural pathways. This process, called myelination, is like paving a dirt road in your mind. The more you use it, the smoother and faster the road becomes. The Stoics didn't know about neuroscience but understood this truth through observation. Musonius Rufus, known as the Roman Socrates, said, "Habit is strengthened by practice, and more practice makes it stronger still." He taught that excellence isn't an act, but a habit formed through countless repetitions. Let me share a powerful story about consistency from the Native American tradition. An elder tells his grandson about 2 wolves fighting inside every person. One wolf represents fear, anger, and self-doubt. The other represents courage, kindness, and perseverance. The grandson asks, which wolf wins? The elder replies, the one you feed consistently. This brings us to a crucial point about consistency that most people miss. It's not about perfection. It's about being persistent. The Stoics had a practice called returning to the path. They knew they would sometimes stray from their principles. The key wasn't to never fall, but to always get back up. Think about water flowing down a mountain. It doesn't move in a straight line. It adapts. It flows around obstacles and never stops moving toward its destination. That's true consistency. Epictetus put it beautifully. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This brings us to a powerful truth about consistency. It's not just about doing the same things. It's about becoming the same person, your best self, regardless of circumstances. When you're tired, when you're discouraged, when no one is watching, those are the moments that define your consistency. Consider this. Every day, you're either building the habit of keeping your word to yourself or breaking it. Every time you say you'll do something and follow through, you're not just accomplishing a task, but strengthening your character. You're becoming someone who can be relied upon, starting with relying upon yourself. The Japanese have a concept called kaizen, continuous improvement through small, consistent steps. But they also have a more profound principle called danshari, the art of decluttering your life to focus on what truly matters. When you combine these ideas with Stoic wisdom, you get something powerful. The understanding that consistency isn't about doing more things, but about doing the right things repeatedly with full attention and dedication. As we wrap up this section on sacrifice and consistency, ask yourself, what one small action, if done consistently, would transform your life over the next year? What would you need to sacrifice to make that consistency possible? Remember, the path to extraordinary achievement is built on ordinary days, consistently invested in your chosen direction. Now, we arrive at our fifth habit, discipline, but not as disciplined as you might think. The Stoics understood something more profound about the discipline that modern self-help often misses entirely. Let me share a story from ancient Greece that captures this perfectly. You've probably heard of Odysseus, the legendary hero who survived a decade-long journey home after the Trojan War. But one part of his story particularly matters for us today. As Odysseus approached the island of the Sirens, whose enchanting songs had lured countless sailors to their deaths, he did something remarkable. Instead of relying on willpower alone, he had his crew tie him to the mast and fill their ears with wax. He created a system of discipline that made failure virtually impossible. This wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. Proper discipline isn't about constant struggle. It's about creating environments and systems that make success almost inevitable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who began life as an enslaved person and ended it as one of history's most outstanding teachers, put it this way: no man is free who is not master of himself. But here's what's fascinating. He taught that mastery comes not from fighting yourself every moment, but from understanding and working with your nature. Consider the story of Damo, daughter of Pythagoras. When her father died, he entrusted her with his manuscripts, making her promise never to sell them. She lived in poverty, but kept them safe her entire life, saying, "I would rather die in poverty obeying my father's wishes than sell them for any price." This wasn't just stubborn determination. It was clarity of purpose so profound that it made discipline automatic. Modern psychology calls this choice architecture, setting up your environment so that good decisions become the default. The Stoics were practicing this 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote about placing his bed on the floor to make sleeping in less tempting. He wasn't fighting his desire for comfort. He was removing the option entirely. But here's where most people get discipline wrong. They think it's about restriction, about saying no. Real discipline is about saying yes to something bigger. It's about having a vision so compelling that it pulls you forward instead of you having to push yourself. There's an ancient Chinese story about the archer Yi, who spent years practicing his art. One day, someone asked him, "What if you miss the target?" Yi replied, "A master archer is not concerned with hitting the target. He is concerned with perfecting his form. Perfect the form, and hitting the target becomes natural." This is true discipline, not the forced march of willpower, but the natural flow of dedicated practice. When you understand this, discipline stops being a punishment and becomes liberation. But there's something else the Stoics understood about discipline that's crucial for success. It's not just about controlling actions. It's about controlling reactions. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is the discipline of the mind, and it's far more powerful than mere physical discipline. Which brings us to our final habit, self-confidence. But not the shallow self-confidence of modern social media. We're talking about something much deeper, what the Stoics called self-sufficiency, the unshakable knowledge of your worth and capabilities. Let me tell you about Zainab al-Ghazali, a 20th century Egyptian activist who spent years in prison for her beliefs. In her darkest moments, she recalled the story of Prophet Yusuf, who said, even in prison, "My Lord has made it good for me." This wasn't blind optimism. It was profound self-confidence based on the understanding that external circumstances don't define your worth or limit your potential. The Stoics would have recognized this truth. Seneca wrote, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." Real self-confidence isn't about thinking you'll always succeed. It's about knowing you'll be okay, even if you fail. Think about that for a moment. Most people's confidence is built on their successes. But true, lasting confidence comes from facing your failures and realizing they didn't destroy you. Each time you fall and get back up, you're not just returning to your previous state, but building a more resilient confidence. There's a powerful Japanese concept called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The result isn't just repaired, it's more beautiful and valuable than the original. This is what true self-confidence looks like. Your challenges and failures aren't flaws to be hidden. They're the gold that makes you unique and valuable. But here's what most people miss about self-confidence. It's not a feeling you wait for. It's a habit you build through small acts of courage. You act confidently and become confident whenever you face fear, speak your truth, or stand your ground. The Stoics had an exercise to build this kind of confidence. They would regularly practice poverty, voluntarily going without comforts they could afford. Why? Because once you know you can handle the worst, you stop fearing it. Your confidence becomes unshakable because it's based on experience, not hope. Now, we can see something remarkable as we bring all 6 habits together. Hard work, patience, sacrifice, consistency, discipline, and self-confidence. They're not separate traits, but different facets of the same diamond. Each one strengthens and supports the others. Think about it. Hard work builds confidence. Patience makes consistency possible. Sacrifice strengthens discipline. They work together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. Remember the story we started with? Marcus Aurelius, writing by candlelight? He wasn't just practicing one habit. He was embodying all 6. The hard work of self-reflection, the patience to build wisdom day by day, the sacrifice of comfort for growth, the consistency of daily practice, the discipline to face hard truths, and the self-confidence to know that his efforts mattered, even if no one else ever saw them. So here's your challenge. Don't try to build these habits all at once. Start with 1. Maybe it's making your bed every morning, a small act of discipline. Maybe it's spending 10 minutes in quiet reflection, practicing patience. Maybe it's finally letting go of that comfort zone holding you back, making that crucial sacrifice. Whatever you choose, remember this. Success isn't an event. It's an emergence. Just as a butterfly emerges from a chrysalis, your success will emerge from the daily practice of these habits. The Stoics knew this. Every great achiever has discovered it, and now you know it too. The question isn't whether these habits work. 2,000 years of history prove they do. The question is, will you have the courage to begin? Will you trust the wisdom of the ages and start building these habits in your own life? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Your step begins now. Choose one habit. Start small. Stay consistent. And watch as ancient wisdom transforms your modern life. Remember, the Stoics weren't trying to be extraordinary. They were trying to live in alignment with nature and truth. And in doing so, they became unforgettable. You can do the same. The path is clear. The wisdom is tested. The only question is, are you ready to begin? Let me leave you with one final story, a modern legend that perfectly embodies these 6 Stoic habits. It's about a skinny boy from Madeira, a poor island off Portugal, who was once told he was too small ever to make it in football. Cristiano Ronaldo's story isn't just about football. It's about the relentless application of every principle we've discussed today. Young Ronaldo would sneak out at night with a ball when other kids were sleeping. He'd tie weights to his feet and practice dribbling alone in the dark. That's not just hard work, the kind of sacrifice separating dreamers from achievers. But here's what most people don't know about Ronaldo's journey. At age 11, he left his family to join Sporting CP's academy. A child was leaving everything familiar behind, sleeping in a small dormitory away from his mother's comfort. While other kids his age were playing video games, he was learning the harsh discipline of professional training. There's a famous story about Ronaldo's early days at Manchester United. His teammates would finish training and head home, but Ronaldo, he'd stay behind practicing the same free kick over and over and over. One day, teammate Rio Ferdinand asked him what he was doing. Ronaldo's response, "I'll be the best in the world." He didn't say it with arrogance. He said it with the quiet confidence of someone who understood the power of consistency. The patience part of his journey? Consider this. Ronaldo spent years transforming his game before becoming the goal-scoring machine we know today. He didn't just practice. He systematically rebuilt himself. He changed his running style to prevent knee injuries. He revolutionized his free kick technique 3 separate times. He completely transformed his body through disciplined nutrition and training. But here's what makes Ronaldo's story so powerful for us today. Even at the height of his success, when he had won everything possible, his habits didn't change. His former teammate, Patrice Evra, tells a story about visiting Ronaldo's house for lunch. After a simple, nutrition-focused meal, Ronaldo suggested they play a 2-touch football game in his garden. Then, he wanted to do pool exercises. Then, he challenged Evra to a sprint. This wasn't a young player trying to prove himself. This was someone who had already won multiple Ballon d'Ors and was already considered one of the greatest of all time. Yet his commitment to these habits remained unshakable. Even more telling is how Ronaldo handled setbacks. When critics said he was finished, when injuries threatened his career, when personal challenges rocked his world, he responded not with words, but with work, with patience, with discipline. Each setback just became another weight in his training, making him stronger. Today, at an age when most footballers have long retired, Ronaldo continues to break records and defy expectations. Why? Because these habits we've discussed are not just things he does, they're who he is. And that's the ultimate lesson from all our Stoic wisdom today. Success isn't about what you do occasionally, it's about who you become consistently. Ronaldo didn't become extraordinary by doing extraordinary things once in a while. He became extraordinary by doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency and dedication. So as you leave here today, ask yourself, what's your equivalent of Ronaldo's late-night training sessions? What's the dream you're willing to sacrifice for? What habit are you ready to build, not just for a day or a week, but as a fundamental part of who you are? Remember, Greatness isn't reserved for those born with special talents. It's available to anyone willing to embrace these 6 habits with the same dedication as a young boy from Madeira who dared to dream big. The path is clear. The blueprint is proven. Whether your goal is in sports, business, art, or any other field, these 6 Stoic habits remain the same. Hard work, patience, sacrifice, consistency, discipline, self-confidence, not as concepts to admire, but as daily practices to live by. Your journey begins now. And remember, as Ronaldo himself often says, your love makes you strong, but your dedication makes you unstoppable. The choice, as always, is yours. Will you have the courage to begin? Your alarm blares, jerking you awake. You fumble for your phone, squinting at the time. Oh no, you've overslept again. Your heart races as you imagine the day spiraling out of control before it's even begun. Sound familiar? We've all been there. And that moment of panic was followed by a mad dash to catch up with a day that started without us. But what if I told you that you could still set yourself up for success even on those mornings when time isn't on your side? That's right. Whether you're up with the roosters or rolling out of bed as the sun hits its stride, there's a way to control your day and mind. Now I know what you're thinking. Another morning routine? Come on. But stick with me here. We're not talking about those picture-perfect routines you see on social media, the ones with people doing yoga at sunrise or whipping up gourmet smoothies before most of us have even opened our eyes. Nope. We're talking about something much older, much wiser, and, believe it or not, much simpler. Enter Stoicism. Now, before you zone out thinking this is going to be some dusty philosophy lesson, let me stop you right there. Stoicism isn't just for ancient Greeks or philosophy majors. It's a practical, no-nonsense approach to life that's as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. In fact, it might be exactly what we need in our chaotic, always-on modern world. So, what's the deal with Stoicism? At its core, it's about focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. It's about finding inner peace and strength, no matter what life throws at you. Sounds pretty good, right? Especially when you're starting your day feeling like you're already behind. That's where our 10 Stoic morning habits come in. These aren't about radically changing your life overnight. They're simple, doable practices that can help you start your day purposefully, even if you've hit the snooze button too many times. We're talking about things like setting your intention for the day, practicing gratitude, even for the small stuff, and using a splash of cold water to wake up your body and mind. These habits aren't about adding more to your plate. They're about helping you approach your day with a clearer mind. They're about building resilience, so those minor morning setbacks don't derail your entire day. And the best part, you can do most of these even if you're short on time or resources. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of simple yet powerful practices to help you start your day on the right foot, no matter when your day begins. You'll learn how to turn problems into opportunities for growth, stay focused in a world full of distractions, and motivate yourself even when you're not feeling it. So, stick around whether you're a chronic oversleeper, a busy parent, a night shift worker, or just someone looking to bring more balance to your mornings. These Stoic morning habits might be the game changer you've been looking for. Let's dive in and discover how to make every morning a good morning, regardless of what time you roll out of bed. The challenge of modern mornings. All right, let's get real for a minute. Mornings in the 21st century, they're tough. We're not exactly waking up to roosters crowing anymore, are we? Nope. We're jolted awake by blaring alarms, immediately bombarded by notifications, and racing against the clock before we've even opened our eyes fully. Think about it. How often have you reached for your phone first thing in the morning, only to be greeted by a flood of emails, news alerts, and social media updates? Suddenly, before your feet hit the floor, your mind was racing, thinking about work deadlines, world events, or what your friend had for dinner last night. Not exactly a peaceful start to the day, is it? And let's not forget the pressure. Oh, the pressure. We're constantly bombarded with images of perfect mornings. You know the ones I'm talking about, those Instagram-worthy routines where people seem to have time for a 5-mile run, a gourmet breakfast, and reading War and Peace, all before 8 a.m. It's enough to make you want to pull the covers over your head and give up before you've even started. But here's the catch. Those traditional morning routines we keep hearing about, they often fail, and I'll tell you why. They're usually too rigid, time-consuming, or unrealistic for most of us. They don't account for the fact that life is life. Sometimes you oversleep. Sometimes your kid wakes up sick. Sometimes you're just not feeling like a morning person, even if you usually are. These routines often focus on adding more to our already packed mornings instead of helping us navigate the chaos. They tell us what to do, but not how to think. And in a world where our circumstances can change in the blink of an eye, it's our mindset that really matters. That's where we're getting it all wrong. We're so focused on doing that we forget about being. We're so caught up in checking items off a list that we lose sight of what really matters. Starting our day with the right mindset, regardless of what time we wake up or what challenges we face. So what's the alternative if traditional morning routines aren't cutting it? Well, that's where our good old friends, the Stoics, come in handy. And trust me, they've got some amazing insights that are surprisingly perfect for our modern morning madness. Stoic philosophy, a solution for today. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stoic philosophy? Seriously? How's some ancient wisdom going to help me with my crazy mornings? Well, buckle up because you're in for a surprise. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless or enduring suffering silently. Nope, it's way more practical and cool than that. At its core, Stoicism is about developing inner strength, focusing on what you can control, and finding peace of mind, even in chaotic situations. Sound like something that might come in handy on a hectic morning? You bet it does. The Stoics, guys like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, weren't just sitting around philosophizing. They were dealing with real-life challenges, running empires, facing exile, and even living as enslaved people. And through it all, they developed principles that helped them survive and thrive. So, how does this ancient wisdom apply to our lives today? Well, imagine waking up late, feeling like your day is already ruined. The Stoic approach wouldn't be to panic or beat yourself up. Instead, it would be to accept the situation. You can't change the fact that you overslept. Focus on what you can control, your actions and attitudes from this point forward, and look for opportunities to make the best of the situation. Stoicism teaches us to find calm in chaos, to be resilient in the face of challenges, and to constantly work on improving ourselves. It's about developing a solid inner core that can weather any storm, even the morning storm gone off the rails. But here's the best part. Stoicism isn't about grand gestures or complete life overhauls. It's about small, consistent actions that add up to big changes over time. And that's exactly what our 10 Stoic morning habits are all about. These habits aren't going to make your mornings perfect magically, but they will give you tools to approach your mornings and your entire day with a clearer, calmer, and more focused mindset. They'll help you build that inner strength bit by bit, day by day, so you can handle whatever life throws at you. Oversleeping, spilled coffee, surprise meetings, and all. So are you ready to discover how this ancient wisdom can revolutionize your modern mornings? Let's dive into these 10 Stoic morning habits and start turning every morning into an opportunity for growth, no matter what time you wake up. Trust me, the Stoics will become your new best friends in tackling those morning challenges. The 10 Stoic morning habits. Set your intention. Let's start with our first Stoic morning habit, setting your intention. Now, I know what you're thinking. I just woke up, and you want me to do what? But hear me out, because this simple practice can be a game changer. Why do it? Well, imagine you're setting out on a road trip. You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without knowing where you're going, right? Same goes for your day. Without a clear direction, it's easy to get lost in the chaos of daily life, feeling like you're just reacting to whatever comes your way. So how do you do it? It's simpler than you might think. When you wake up, before you even get out of bed, take a moment to ask yourself, what's my main focus today? It doesn't have to be anything grand. Maybe it's finishing that report you've been putting off, being more patient with your kids, or even just making it through a tough day at work with a positive attitude. The benefits? By setting your intention, you're giving your day purpose and direction. It's like having a North Star to guide you. You can return to your intention and refocus when you feel overwhelmed or distracted. Let me give you an example. Say you wake up late, feeling stressed about everything you need to do. Instead of panicking, you take a breath and set your intention. Today, I'm going to focus on staying calm under pressure. Boom! Now, you have a framework for approaching your day, no matter what challenges come your way. Remember, your intention doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about adding pressure. It's about giving yourself a positive direction. So, start your day with purpose, even if that purpose is as simple as, today, I'll do my best. Trust me, it makes a difference. Be grateful. Next up, we've got gratitude. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude, really? My alarm didn't go off, I'm running late, and you want me to be grateful? Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. And here's why it's so powerful. Why practice gratitude? Because it's like flipping a switch in your brain. Instead of focusing on what's going wrong or what you don't have, gratitude shifts your attention to what's going right and what you do have. And let me tell you, there's always something to be grateful for, even on the most challenging days. So, how do you do it? It's simple. Take a moment to think of 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for the comfortable bed you just got out of, the coffee waiting for you in the kitchen, or even just the fact that you're alive and have a new day ahead of you. The benefits? Practicing gratitude is like giving your mind a positive boost. It reduces stress, improves mood, and helps you start the day more optimistically. Plus, it's hard to be grumpy when you're focusing on the good stuff in your life. Here's a real-life example. Let's say you wake up to find out your car won't start. Frustrating, right? But instead of letting it ruin your day, you practice gratitude. You're thankful for the neighbor who offers you a ride, the extra time to listen to your favorite podcast on the bus, and the problem-solving skills you'll use to deal with your car. Suddenly, the situation doesn't seem so bad. Remember, gratitude isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything's perfect. It's about recognizing that even when things are tough, there's still good in your life. So start your day by counting your blessings, no matter how small they seem. Cold water. Wake up. All right, brace yourselves for this next one. It's time to talk about the cold water wake up. And yes, I can already hear some of you groaning. But trust me, this Stoic practice is as invigorating as it is challenging. Why do it? Well, the Stoics were all about voluntary discomfort as a way to build mental toughness. And let's face it, there's nothing quite like a blast of cold water to shake off sleep and spark your senses to life. So how do you do it? You've got options. You can start small by splashing cold water on your face at the sink. Or, if you're feeling brave, end your shower with a 30-second blast of cold water. A complete cold shower is the way to go for the true Stoic warriors. Whatever you choose, the key is to embrace the discomfort. The benefits? This practice does more than wake you up, although it definitely does that. It's a way to build resilience and mental toughness. By voluntarily exposing yourself to discomfort first thing in the morning, you're training your mind to handle daily challenges. Plus, it gets your blood flowing and can even boost your immune system. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you've hit snooze 3 times and you're feeling groggy. You drag yourself to the shower, turn the water cold, and step in. Yes, it's a shock. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But as the water hits you, you feel your body come alive. Your mind clears. As you step out, you feel invigorated and proud of yourself for facing discomfort head on. You've already overcome a challenge, and your day has barely begun. Remember, the cold water wake-up isn't about torturing yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you can do hard things. Start small if you need to, but give it a try. You might be surprised at how it sets the tone for a day of facing challenges with confidence. Make a to-do list. Now, let's talk about something that might seem obvious but is oh so important. Making a to-do list. But hold on. Before you roll your eyes thinking this is just another dull productivity tip, let me tell you why this is a key Stoic practice. Why make a list? The Stoics focused on what we could control. A to-do list helps you do just that. It takes all those swirling thoughts and tasks in your head and puts them down on paper or screen, where you can actually do something about them. So, how do you do it the Stoic way? Keep it simple. Write down the top 3 things you need to get done today. Not want to get done, not should get done, but need to get done. Focus on things you can control and make sure they're realistic. The benefits? This practice helps you prioritize and stay focused. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by an endless list of tasks, you have a clear, manageable action plan. It reduces anxiety because you know exactly what you need to focus on. Plus, there's something satisfying about crossing items off your list. Here's a real-world example. Let's say you wake up feeling stressed about a big project at work, a messy house, and a dozen unanswered emails. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, you make your list. 1. Work on a project for 2 hours. 2. Clean the kitchen. 3. Respond to 3 important emails. Suddenly, your day feels manageable. You know what you need to focus on, and everything else can wait. Remember, your to-do list isn't about cramming in as much as possible. It's about identifying what's truly important and permitting yourself to focus on it. So, take a few minutes each morning to make your list. Your future self will thank you. 5. Avoid distractions. Let's talk about avoiding distractions. And let's be real. This might be the most challenging habit of all in today's world, but it's also one of the most important. Why avoid distractions? The Stoics believed in being present and focusing on what's within our control. But in our modern world, it's all too easy to start the day by diving into a sea of distractions, social media, news, emails, that pull us away from what's truly important. So, how do you do it? Here's the challenge. Don't check your phone for the first 30 minutes of your day. I know, it sounds impossible, but give it a try. Use this time to think, to plan, or even to enjoy your coffee in peace. The benefits? By avoiding distractions first thing in the morning, you set the tone for your entire day. You're taking control of your attention rather than letting others control it for you. This leads to better focus, less stress, and a greater sense of purpose in your day. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine 2 different mornings. In one, you wake up and immediately check your phone. You see a worrying news headline, a work email that stresses you out, and a social media post that makes you feel inadequate. Your mood plummets before you've even gotten out of bed. Now, imagine another morning. You wake up and resist the urge to check your phone. Instead, you take a few deep breaths, think about your intentions for the day, and enjoy a quiet moment. Which morning sets you up for a better day? Remember, avoiding distractions isn't about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about choosing when and how you engage with it. By starting your day distraction-free, you're giving yourself the gift of a calm, focused mind. And in today's chaotic world, that's truly priceless. Move your body. Let's get moving with our sixth Stoic morning habit, physical activity. Now, before you start groaning about early morning marathons, hear me out. This isn't about intense workouts. It's about connecting with your body and kickstarting your day. Why move your body? The Stoics understood the deep connection between physical and mental well-being. They knew that taking care of your body was crucial for a clear, focused mind. Plus, some morning movement can be a real game changer in a world where many of us spend our days hunched over desks. So how do you do it? Keep it simple. We're talking 5-10 minutes of movement here, folks. It could be a quick yoga stretch, a short walk around the block, or even some jumping jacks in your living room. The key is to get your blood flowing and your body awake. The benefits? Moving your body in the morning boosts your energy, improves your mood, and enhances your focus for the day ahead. It's like pressing the reset button on your body and mind, helping you shake off sleep and feel more alive. Picture this. You've woken up feeling groggy and unmotivated. Instead of reaching for your third cup of coffee, you decide to try this habit. You put on some music and dance around your room for 5 minutes. Yes, you might feel a bit silly at first, but by the end, you're smiling, your heart is pumping, and you feel ready to tackle the day. That's the power of morning movement. Remember, this isn't about perfect form or intense workouts. It's about connecting with your body and starting your day with positive energy. So, roll out of bed and get moving. Your body and mind will thank you. Tell yourself you've got this. Next up, we're diving into the power of positive self-talk with our seventh habit, telling yourself you've got this. I know it might sound a bit cheesy, but stick with me here. This simple practice can be incredibly powerful. Why do it? The Stoics believed in the power of our thoughts to shape our reality. They understood that our inner dialogue can either empower us or hold us back. By consciously choosing positive self-talk, we're setting ourselves up for success. How do you do it? It's as simple as looking in the mirror or just saying to yourself something like, I can handle whatever comes my way today. Make it personal and meaningful to you. The key is to say it with conviction, even if you don't fully believe it at first. The benefits? Positive self-talk boosts your confidence, reduces anxiety, and helps you approach challenges with a can-do attitude. It's like being your own personal cheerleader, pumping yourself up for the day ahead. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you've got a big presentation at work today. You're nervous, your stomach's in knots, and you're tempted to call in sick. But instead, you look in the mirror and say, I've prepared for this, I know my stuff, I can do this. You repeat it until you start to believe it. Suddenly, that presentation doesn't seem so scary. You've shifted your mindset from fear to confidence. Remember, this isn't about ignoring real challenges or difficulties. It's about reminding yourself that you have the strength to face them. So, give yourself a pep talk each morning. It might feel awkward initially, but it can become a powerful tool in your Stoic arsenal with practice. Breathe deeply. Now, let's take a deep breath and discuss our eighth habit, conscious breathing. This might seem too simple to be effective, but trust me, it's a cornerstone of Stoic practice. Why focus on breathing? The Stoics knew that our breath is one of the few things we can control in any situation. Focusing on our breath can calm our minds, reduce stress, and bring ourselves into the present moment. How do you do it? It's simple but powerful. Take 5 minutes to sit quietly and focus on your breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your focus back to your breath. The benefits? Deep breathing reduces stress and anxiety, improves focus, and helps you start your day from a place of calm. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system, helping you approach the day with a clear, centered mind. Here's a scenario. You wake up to stressful texts and emails. Your heart's racing, your mind's spinning, and you feel like the day is already spiraling. But instead of reacting, you take 5 minutes to focus on your breath. As you breathe deeply, you feel your heart rate slow, your muscles relax, and your mind clear. Now, you're ready to respond to those messages from a place of calm rather than panic. Remember, this isn't about clearing your mind of all thoughts. It's about anchoring yourself in the present moment through your breath. So, take a few minutes each morning to breathe. It's a small investment of time that can pay off big in terms of your mental state throughout the day. Check your progress. As we near the end of our Stoic morning routine, let's talk about our 9th habit, checking your progress. This isn't about obsessing over every little detail, but acknowledging how far you've come. Why check your progress? The Stoics believed in constant self-improvement, but also understood the importance of recognizing growth. By acknowledging our progress, we motivate ourselves to keep pushing forward. How do you do it? Take a moment each morning to reflect on something you accomplished yesterday, no matter how small. Maybe you finally made that difficult phone call, stuck to your exercise routine, or handled a stressful situation gracefully. Acknowledge it and give yourself credit. The benefits? Checking your progress boosts your motivation and self-esteem. It helps you focus on growth rather than perfection and reminds you that you can make positive changes in your life. Let's look at an example. Say you're working on being more patient. You wake up and think about yesterday. You remember how you took a deep breath and responded calmly when your coworker made a mistake instead of snapping as you might have in the past. It might seem small, but it's progress. Acknowledging this gives you a boost of confidence and motivates you to keep working on your patience today. Remember, this isn't about comparing yourself to others or setting unrealistic standards. It's about recognizing your growth, no matter how incremental. So, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come each morning. You might be surprised at how much progress you're making. See problems as challenges. And now, we've reached our 10th and final Stoic morning habit, seeing problems as challenges. This mindset shift can be a real game changer in how you approach your day. Why reframe problems? The Stoics believed that our perceptions shape our reality. By seeing problems as challenges or opportunities, we empower ourselves to tackle them head-on, rather than feeling victimized by them. How do you do it? When you encounter a problem, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can this make me stronger?" It's about shifting from a passive to an active mindset. The benefits. This reframing helps build resilience and mental toughness. It reduces stress by putting you in a problem-solving mindset rather than a helpless one. Plus, it can actually make life more interesting as you start to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Here's a real-life scenario. You wake up to find out your car won't start, and you have an important meeting. Instead of panicking, you see it as a challenge. You think, okay, how can I solve this? Maybe I can carpool with a coworker, or this is a chance to finally try out that bike route to work. Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstance, but an active problem solver. Remember, this isn't about toxic positivity or ignoring real problems. It's about approaching difficulties with a growth mindset. By starting your day looking at problems this way, you're preparing yourself to handle whatever challenges come your way with resilience and creativity. And there you have it, our 10 Stoic morning habits. Each one is a powerful tool on its own, but together they form a robust toolkit for starting your day with purpose, resilience, and a positive mindset. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. So, start small, be consistent, and watch how these habits can transform your mornings and life. Putting it all together. All right, Stoic community, let's bring it all home. We've covered 10 powerful Stoic morning habits, but you might wonder, how do I actually make this work in my life? Don't worry, I've got you covered. First things first, remember that this isn't an all-or-nothing deal. You don't have to implement all 10 habits at once. Start small. Pick one or two that resonate with you and focus on those. Maybe begin with setting your intention and practicing gratitude. Once those feel natural, add another habit to your routine. The key is consistency, not perfection. And here's a pro tip for those mornings when you wake up late and feel like you don't have time for any of this. Choose one habit and do it, even if it's just for 30 seconds. Set your intention while brushing your teeth. Practice gratitude during your commute. Take 3 deep breaths before you start your workday. Remember, these habits are tools to help you, not additional stressors. Be flexible and adapt them to your life. The goal is cultivating a Stoic mindset, not checking boxes off a list. As we wrap up, I want you to remember something important. Change doesn't happen overnight. The Stoics understood that personal growth is a lifelong journey, not a destination. So be patient with yourself. Start small, be consistent, and watch as these habits slowly but surely transform your mornings and your life. Every morning is a new opportunity to practice these Stoic principles. Even if yesterday didn't go as planned, today is a chance to try again. That's the beauty of this philosophy. It's not about being perfect, it's about continuous improvement. So, my fellow Stoics, I challenge you to try these habits. Start tomorrow morning, pick one habit, and commit to it for a week. See how it affects your days, your mindset, and your life. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. We're here to support you every step of the way. Thank you for joining me today on the Stoic community. Please like, share, and subscribe if you find value in this video. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on more Stoic wisdom for modern life. And hey, drop a comment below letting us know which habit you will try first. Remember, every morning is a chance to strengthen your mind, face life's challenges with resilience, and become your best version. So wake up, Stoic warrior. Your day awaits, and you've got this. Until next time, stay strong, stay stoic, and make every morning count. Peace out, Stoic community. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by negative thoughts swirling in your mind? Constantly worrying about things outside your control, or doubting your own abilities and self-worth? If so, you're not alone. In today's fast-paced world, many of us struggle with habits that chip away at our mental well-being and hold us back from reaching our full potential. But what if I told you there is a timeless philosophy that can help you break free from these toxic patterns? A way of thinking that has been embraced by some of history's greatest minds. from emperors to enslaved people, soldiers to scholars. That philosophy is Stoicism. And in this video, we'll explore how its ancient wisdom can liberate you from 7 crippling habits that may be sabotaging your happiness and success. You see, the Stoics believed that true freedom and tranquility come from focusing our energy on what is within our control while letting go of what is not. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things beyond the power of our will." Over the next hour, we'll dive deep into 7 damaging behaviors that the Stoics identified as obstacles to a fulfilling life. Overthinking, trying to please everyone, living in the past, constantly worrying, self-doubt, negative self-talk, procrastination. For each of these, we'll examine the Stoic perspective and insights from philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and provide practical, modern-day strategies to help you quit these habits for good. Many of you can relate to at least 1 or 2 behaviors hindering your life. Maybe you're a chronic overthinker whose racing mind keeps you up at night, or a people pleaser who has lost touch with your values and desires. Whatever your struggle, I invite you to share it in the comments below. Overcoming deeply ingrained patterns is no easy feat. It takes courage, self-awareness, and a steadfast commitment to personal growth. But the rewards are immense. A profound sense of inner peace, unshakable confidence, and the ability to fully embrace each present moment. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. By aligning our mindset with Stoic virtues like resilience, self-control, and rational thinking, we can transform our experiences and reclaim our power over the habits holding us back. So brace yourself for an insightful, engaging, and potentially life-changing journey. One where you'll gain a deeper understanding of your behaviors and acquire powerful tools to cultivate the existence you truly desire and deserve. A life free from the shackles of overthinking, people-pleasing, and the other joy-sapping habits we'll explore. But to get there, we must start by examining habit 1, overthinking. Seneca wisely stated, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." So, let's dive in and learn how to quiet that restless mind. Overthinking. In our fast-paced, information-overloaded world, the tendency to overthink has become a pandemic. We're constantly bombarded with stimuli, choices, and what-ifs that send our minds into frenzied overdrive. Overthinking is that constant inner voice that stubbornly replays past situations, frets about future uncertainties, and blows minor concerns out of proportion. The endless cycle of churning thoughts leaves us drained, anxious, and paralyzed. As Seneca warned, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. That's because when we overthink, we mentally construct worst-case scenarios and catastrophize minor issues into looming disasters. The more we dwell on these imagined threats, the more accurate and terrifying they become. This pernicious habit doesn't just compromise our mental health, it sabotages productivity, decision-making, and our ability to embrace the present moment. When our minds are caught in the overthinking loop, we can't take purposeful action or appreciate the beauty and richness of what's right in front of us. Fortunately, the ancient Stoics developed robust mental frameworks to counter overthinking and cultivate tranquility, an unshakable inner calm amidst life's inevitable turbulence. At the core of their philosophy was the notion that we cannot control external events, only our judgments and reactions to them. As Marcus Aurelius proclaimed, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. The Stoics taught that our overthinking stems from irrational beliefs and desires about how we think the world should be, rather than accepting reality as it is. Reframing our perspective through reason and self-discipline can escape the overthinking prison. One powerful Stoic exercise is called the view from above. It involves zooming out and looking at your current situation from a broader vantage point, almost like watching yourself on a grand stage. This mental shift helps you detach from the intense, myopic fixation that fuels overthinking and see your circumstances through a more rational, balanced lens. Another Stoic antidote is called negative visualization. Vividly picturing losing the things you currently have, like your possessions or relationships. This exercise cultivates gratitude by reminding you that nothing is permanently guaranteed. That perspective makes you less likely to cling to and obsess over ultimately impermanent circumstances. Here are some practical guides. 1. Learn to identify your overthinking triggers, certain situations, topics, or even times of day when your mind tends to spiral. 2. When you notice overthinking arising, pause and take several deep breaths to create space between you and your whirling thoughts. 3. Practice the view from above by imagining you're a Stoic impartial observer watching the situation from a distance or space. What would this look like? How significant is it? 4. Ask yourself whether this issue will matter in 1 year, 5 years, etc. Most of what we obsess over has little long-term relevance. 5. Stoic negative visualization. Vividly picture your current situation or possessions being taken away for a dose of humble gratitude. 6. Be present. When your mind wanders to other times, gently bring it back to this moment, the only real thing. Are you already familiar with the situation where you found yourself staring at your phone for what seems like an eternity, agonizing over whether to send that text message you just drafted? You may have rewritten it 10 times, analyzing every word choice and punctuation mark for unintended meanings. Let's consider the story of Sarah. Sarah knows this feeling all too well. The other day at work, she sent a friendly Slack message to her manager about an upcoming project. Harmless enough, right? But almost immediately, her mind kicked into overdrive. Did I come across as too casual by not using proper capitalization? Or was it weirdly formal by saying good morning first? Maybe I should have added an emoji to seem more approachable. Oh no, what if she thinks I'm being passive-aggressive by following up on this so soon? Before she knew it, Sarah was drowning in a whirlpool of imagined interpretations and worst-case scenarios about this minor interaction. She spent the rest of her workday utterly distracted, rereading that Slack message every few minutes and berating herself for things she may have phrased incorrectly or insensitively. By the time she got home, Sarah was consumed with anxiety that she had somehow offended her manager without realizing it. She even considered sending a follow-up apology despite having no reason to believe she'd done anything wrong. All because her overthinking took on a destructive life of its own. Does this resonate at all? We've all fallen into the overthinking trap at some point, blowing trivialities out of proportion and catastrophizing situations that are ultimately insignificant. As the Stoics taught, when we dwell in the imaginary world of our restless mind, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So let's practice together right now. Close your eyes and picture yourself in a recent situation you've been overthinking or ruminating on. Maybe it's feeling rejected after a job interview or stewing over something a loved one said. Whatever it is, visualize it vividly. Now zoom out and imagine you're watching the scene unfold as an objective third party. Notice how it appears smaller and less overwhelming from this separate vantage point. Consider whether this issue will matter in the grand scheme of things a year or 5 years from now. If not, why continue torturing yourself over something so insignificant and temporary? Take a deep breath and commit to redirecting your mind's energy towards more productive, enriching thoughts whenever that overthinking loop tries to start again. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Let's choose to make it good. I'll include more interactive exercises like this throughout the video to help you immediately implement the Stoic solutions I'm sharing. Up next, we'll tackle the toxic habit of people-pleasing and reframe it through the lens of rational self-interest. Don't go anywhere. Trying to please everyone, or people-pleasing. We live in a world where the pressure to conform and be liked is immense. Social media has amplified this, creating constant comparisons and perceived judgments. In this environment, many of us fall into the trap of people-pleasing. This habit can be just as destructive as overthinking. People-pleasing goes beyond simple kindness or consideration. It's a compulsive need to gain approval and avoid conflict at all costs, often at the expense of our well-being and authenticity. The people-pleaser becomes a chameleon, constantly shifting their behavior, opinions, and values to match what they think others want. The habit can manifest in various ways. 1. Saying yes to requests even when we're overwhelmed. 2. Apologizing excessively, even for things that aren't our fault. 3. Avoiding expressing our genuine opinions for fear of disagreement. 4. Neglecting our own needs to attend to others. 5. Feeling responsible for others' emotions and trying to fix them. While it may seem harmless or even virtuous on the surface, chronic people-pleasing takes a heavy toll. It leads to burnout, resentment, loss of self-identity, and paradoxically often results in less authentic relationships. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The Stoics recognized the futility and danger of trying to please everyone. They understood that true fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from living by one's values and virtues. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, offered this powerful advice: be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This encapsulates the Stoic approach to dealing with others. Show understanding and kindness, but don't compromise your principles or well-being. The Stoics emphasized the importance of focusing on what's within our control. We can control our actions and reactions, but we cannot control others' opinions or feelings about us. Epictetus put it bluntly: if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. This doesn't mean we should be inconsiderate or selfish. Instead, it's about balancing being kind and maintaining our integrity. The Stoics believed in the concept of oikeiosis, a process of self-realization and outward extending our circle of concern. We start by taking care of ourselves, then our close relations, and gradually expand our circle of care to encompass all of humanity. By prioritizing our values and well-being, we become better equipped to help others rather than merely pleasing them superficially, genuinely. Practical guide. 1. Identify your core values. Reflect on what truly matters. What principles do you want to follow regardless of others' opinions? 2. Practice saying no. Start small. Decline a minor request that aligns differently from your priorities. Remember, saying no to one thing allows you to say yes to something more substantial. 3. Set and communicate boundaries. Clearly express your limits to others. For example, I can help you with this project, but I'll need to finish by 5 p.m. to maintain my work-life balance. 4. Embrace discomfort. Recognize that it's okay if not everyone likes or agrees with you. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. 5. Practice self-compassion. When you feel the urge to people please, treat yourself with the same kindness you'd show a friend. 6. Reframe your perspective. Instead of making others happy, focus on being authentic and kind. Genuine connections are built on honesty rather than constant agreeability. 7. Reflect on consequences. Consider the impact on your well-being and values before agreeing to something. Is it worth the potential stress or compromise? Let me help you guys by providing an example to simplify it. Let's consider the story of Maria, a talented graphic designer working at a fast-paced advertising agency. Maria was known for her creativity and efficiency, but she had a hard time saying no to any request that came her way. Colleagues often asked her to do extra work, even when she was already swamped with projects. Clients would demand last-minute changes, and Maria would agree, working late into the night to accommodate them. Her boss casually mentioned weekend work, and Maria obliged without hesitation. At first, Maria felt proud of her reputation as the go-to person who could handle anything. But over time, the constant people-pleasing took its toll. Her projects began to suffer as she juggled too many commitments. She felt constantly stressed and resentful, yet couldn't bring herself to turn down any requests. The breaking point came when Maria missed her sister's wedding anniversary dinner, an event she had promised to attend, because a client asked for revisions at the last minute. Sitting alone in her office that night, Maria realized something had to change. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, Maria began reassessing her priorities and setting clear boundaries. She started by having an honest conversation with her boss about her workload and the need for a better work-life balance. To her surprise, her boss was supportive and helped redistribute some of her tasks. Maria then practiced saying no to non-essential requests, focusing her energy on projects aligned with her values and career goals. She communicated clearly with clients about realistic timelines and the impact of last-minute changes. At first, this shift was uncomfortable. Maria worried she was letting people down or damaging her reputation. However, as Epictetus advised, she learned to be content to be thought foolish and stupid by those who didn't understand her boundaries. Over time, Maria noticed a remarkable change. Her work quality improved as she focused on fewer, more meaningful projects. She felt more energized and creative. Most surprisingly, her professional and personal relationships became more authentic and satisfying. By being true to herself, Maria attracted people who appreciated her for who she was, not just for what she could do for them. Maria's journey illustrates the Stoic principle that true strength comes not from trying to please everyone, but from staying true to one's values and maintaining healthy boundaries. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own life. Please identify areas where you might be falling into the people-pleasing trap. It's always saying yes to extra work or agreeing with others' opinions, even when you disagree internally. In the comments below, share one specific instance where you've struggled with people-pleasing. Then, inspired by the Stoic principles we've discussed, tell us how you might handle that situation differently. Remember, this is about progress, not perfection. Even small steps towards authenticity and healthy boundaries can lead to significant positive changes in your life. As we move forward, remember these words from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In our next section, we'll explore how to break free from the chains of living in the past, another habit that robs us of our present joy and future potential. Living in the past. In our journey through life, we often find ourselves caught in the grip of the past. We replay old memories, rehash bygone conflicts, and dwell on missed opportunities. This habit of living in the past can be as insidious as it is expected, silently rotting our happiness and hindering our personal growth. Living in the past manifests in various ways, constantly reminiscing about the good old days, harboring grudges or resentment over past wrongs, fixating on past mistakes or failures, comparing current situations unfavorably to past experiences, holding on to outdated beliefs or perspectives. While reflection can be valuable, excessive focus on the past prevents us from fully engaging with the present and preparing for the future. It's like trying to drive a car while staring in the rearview mirror. You're bound to crash. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius recognized this danger when he wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." By clinging to the past, we resist the natural flow of change and limit our potential for growth and happiness. The Stoics offered powerful insights to help us break free from the tyranny of the past. At the core of their philosophy was emphasizing the present moment, the only time we truly have control over it. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't fill your mind with all the bad things that might still happen. Stay focused on the present situation and ask yourself why it's so unbearable and can't be survived." This doesn't mean we should ignore the past entirely. The Stoics believed in learning from history, both personal and collective. However, they emphasized using these lessons to inform present actions rather than dwelling on what cannot be changed. Epictetus offered this practical wisdom. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This perspective encourages us to accept the past as it was, learn from it, and then direct our energy towards the present and future. The Stoics also recognized the impermanence of all things. Heraclitus, an influence on Stoic thought, famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." This reminder of constant change can help us let go of the past and embrace the possibilities of the present. Practical guide. 1. Practice mindfulness. Regularly bring your attention to the present moment. Notice your surroundings, your breath, your bodily sensations. 2. Journal about the past. Write about past events you're holding on to, but focus on extracting lessons for the present and future. 3. Perform a past inventory. List things you're holding on to from your past. For each item, ask, "Can I change this now?" If not, practice accepting it and letting it go. 4. Use visualization. Imagine placing past regrets or painful memories into a balloon and watching it float away. 5. Reframe past experiences. Look for the growth opportunities in past challenges. How have difficult experiences shaped you positively? 6. Practice gratitude. Daily, list 3 things you're grateful for in the present. This helps shift focus from past to present. 7. Set future goals. Create clear, achievable objectives for your future. This gives you something positive to focus on instead of the past. Let me help you guys by providing an example to simplify it. Let's consider the story of David, a 45-year-old marketing executive. David passed up a tech startup job offer 10 years ago, staying with his stable corporate position. That startup became a billion-dollar company, and David was consumed with regret and what-ifs. David's fixation on this missed opportunity affected every aspect of his life. He became bitter and resentful, constantly comparing his current life unfavorably to the imagined life he could have had. His performance at work suffered as he lost motivation, believing he had already missed his big chance. His relationship strained as he withdrew emotionally, lost in thoughts of what could have been. One day, while browsing a bookstore, David stumbled upon a book on Stoic philosophy. he was struck by a quote from Seneca: "The greatest loss of time is delay and expectation, which depend upon the future. We let go the present which we have in our power, and look forward to that which depends upon chance, and so relinquish a certainty for an uncertainty." This was a wake-up call for David. He realized he had been sacrificing his present happiness for an idealized past that could never be changed. Inspired by Stoic principles, David began to shift his perspective. 1. He practiced mindfulness using simple techniques like focusing on his breath to bring himself back to the present moment whenever he caught dwelling on the past. 2. He started a journal not to rehash old regrets, but to extract lessons from his experiences. He realized that staying in his corporate job had provided stability that allowed him to support his family through some challenging times. 3. David performed a past inventory, listing everything he was holding on to. For each item, he asked himself, "Can I change this now?" If not, he practiced accepting it and letting it go. 4. He set new future goals, focusing on ways he could innovate within his current role and industry. This gave him a positive focus for his energy. 5. David started a daily gratitude practice, listing 3 things he was thankful for in his present life. This helped him recognize the value of his current situation. Gradually, David noticed a significant shift in his outlook and quality of life. By focusing on the present and future rather than the unchangeable past, he found renewed enthusiasm for his work. He came up with innovative marketing strategies that earned him a promotion. His relationships improved as he became more emotionally present and positive. Most importantly, David found a sense of peace and contentment that had eluded him for years. He realized that while he couldn't change the past, he had the power to shape his present and future. David's journey illustrates the Stoic principle that true freedom comes from focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions in the present moment, rather than lamenting what we cannot change. Now, I invite you to reflect on your life with the same Stoic lesson. Are there past events or decisions that you find yourself dwelling on? How might this focus on the past affect your present happiness and future potential? Take a moment to write down one past event that you frequently revisit in your mind. Now, channeling the Stoic approach, ask yourself, 1. What lesson can I extract from this experience? 2. How can I apply this lesson to improve my present and future? 3. What am I grateful for in my current life that this past event made possible? Share your insights in the comments below. Remember, the goal isn't to ignore or forget the past, but to use it as a tool for present growth and future planning. As we move forward, remember these words from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In our next section, we'll tackle the habit of constant worrying, exploring how Stoic principles can help us find peace amidst life's uncertainties. Constantly worrying. Worry is a universal human experience, but it can paralyze us and rob us of joy when it becomes chronic. Worry has reached epidemic proportions in our modern world, filled with constant streams of information and perceived threats. Worry is the mind's attempt to control the uncontrollable. It's a mental habit of fixating on potential future problems, often imagining worst-case scenarios. While a certain level of concern can be productive, excessive worrying rarely solves problems. Instead, it creates a host of new ones like chronic stress and anxiety, difficulty concentrating and making decisions, sleep disturbances, physical health issues like headaches and digestive problems, strained relationships due to constant negativity, avoidance of new experiences or opportunities due to fear. The irony of worry is that it often causes more suffering than the events we're worrying about. As Mark Twain humorously noted, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. The Stoics recognized worry as a misuse of our imaginative faculties and offered powerful strategies to combat it. At the core of their approach was the concept of the dichotomy of control, the idea that some things are within our control while others are not. Epictetus articulated this principle clearly. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. By focusing our energy on what we can control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions, we can let go of fruitless worry about external events beyond our influence. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of living in the present moment. Seneca advised, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." We can escape the trap of imagining future calamities by grounding ourselves in the here and now. Moreover, the Stoics practiced negative visualization or premeditation of evils. This involves deliberately imagining worst-case scenarios, not to worry about them, but to prepare for them rationally and reduce their power to disturb us. As Marcus Aurelius said, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." By mentally preparing for challenges, we're less likely to be thrown off balance when they occur. Practical guide. 1. Practice the dichotomy of control. When worrying, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, practice accepting it and redirecting your energy to what you can influence. 2. Use negative visualization. Spend a few minutes each day imagining challenging scenarios. Then, plan how you'd cope with them rationally. 3. Implement a worry time. Set aside a specific 15-30-minute period each day for worrying. When worries arise outside this time, note them down for later. 4. Practice mindfulness. Regular meditation or mindfulness exercises can help you stay grounded in the present moment. 5. Challenge your worries. When a concern arises, ask yourself, what's the evidence for and against this thought? How likely is this to happen? What's the worst that could happen, and how would I cope? 6. Take action on solvable problems. If your worry is about something you can influence, make an action plan instead of dwelling on it. 7. Practice gratitude. Regularly noting what you're thankful for can shift your focus from potential negatives to existing positives. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old project manager at a tech startup. Sarah was known for her efficiency and attention to detail, but these qualities fueled her tendency to worry excessively. She'd lie awake at night imagining how her current project could fail, mentally replaying every interaction with her team for potential misunderstandings and worrying about future job security in the volatile tech industry. Sarah's constant state of worry began to affect her performance. She second-guessed every decision, hesitated to delegate tasks for fear they wouldn't be done perfectly, and struggled to meet deadlines as she obsessed over minor details. Her personal life suffered too, as she found herself too mentally exhausted to enjoy time with friends and family. The turning point came when Sarah's manager, noticing her stress, recommended a book on Stoic philosophy. Epictetus's teachings particularly struck Sarah on the dichotomy of control. She realized she was expending enormous mental energy on things largely outside her influence: market trends, her colleagues' opinions, and potential future problems that might never materialize. Inspired by Stoic principles, Sarah began to reshape her approach. 1. She started each day by listing what was within her control, her effort, her responses, her attitude, and what wasn't: the economy, others' actions, unforeseen obstacles. This helped her focus her energy more productively. 2. Sarah implemented a daily worry time. When worries arose during the day, she'd jot them down to revisit during her 20-minute worry period. Often she found that by the time her worry time arrived, many concerns had resolved themselves or no longer seemed significant. 3. She practiced negative visualization, spending a few minutes each morning imagining challenges she might face that day. This mental preparation helped her feel more confident and less anxious when real challenges arose. 4. Sarah started a mindfulness practice, using a smartphone app to guide her through 10-minute daily meditations. This helped her stay grounded in the present rather than fretting about the future. 5. When worries did arise, Sarah learned to challenge them rationally. She'd ask herself, what's the evidence for this worry? How likely is this to happen? What's the worst-case scenario? And how would I cope? 6. For worries about concrete problems, Sarah shifted from rumination to action. Instead of endlessly worrying about a project timeline, she'd create a detailed plan to address potential bottlenecks. Over time, Sarah noticed a significant shift. Her mind felt more apparent, and she slept better at night. Her work performance improved as she focused on what she could control and let go of excessive worry about potential failures. She found herself more present and engaged in her relationships. Most importantly, Sarah discovered a new sense of inner calm. As Epictetus taught, people are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. By changing her perspective on worry, Sarah changed her entire life experience. Now it's your turn to apply these Stoic principles to your worries. Take a moment to identify a persistent concern in your life. Write it down, then ask yourself, 1. Is this within my control? If not, can I accept it? 2. What's the evidence for and against this worry? 3. What's the worst, and how would I cope? 4. Is there any action I can take to address this concern? Share your insights in the comments below. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate worry, but to transform it from a paralyzing force into a tool for productive action and personal growth. As we move forward, remember these words from Epictetus: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. In our next section, we'll confront the insidious habit of self-doubt, exploring how Stoic wisdom can help us build unshakable self-confidence. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is a formidable adversary that many of us face daily. It's that nagging inner voice that whispers, "You're not good enough," "You can't do this," or "Who do you think you are?" This persistent questioning of our abilities, worth, and decisions can be paralyzing, hindering personal growth and preventing us from reaching our full potential. Self-doubt manifests in various ways: hesitation to pursue goals or opportunities, constant comparison to others, perfectionism and fear of failure, difficulty making decisions, seeking excessive validation from others, downplaying achievements or successes. At its core, self-doubt stems from a lack of trust in our judgment and capabilities. It's often rooted in past experiences, societal pressures, or unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves. While a healthy dose of self-reflection can be beneficial, chronic self-doubt erodes our confidence. It limits our ability to navigate life's challenges effectively. The Stoics, emphasizing self-awareness and rational thinking, offer powerful tools to combat self-doubt. They believed true self-worth comes from within and is based on our character and actions, not external validations or circumstances. Epictetus famously said, "Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself." This perspective encourages us to see challenges not as threats to our self-worth, but as opportunities to demonstrate and develop our character. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of focusing on what's within our control. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By concentrating on our thoughts, judgments, and actions, rather than others' opinions or external outcomes, we can build a more stable sense of self-confidence. Moreover, the Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining worst-case scenarios to prepare for them mentally. When applied to self-doubt, this technique can help us realize that even if our fears come true, we have the strength to handle the consequences. Practical guide. 1. Practice self-awareness. Regularly reflect on your thoughts and actions. Identify when self-doubt arises and what triggers it. 2. Focus on what you can control. When facing a challenge, list what aspects are within your control and focus your energy there. 3. Reframe negative self-talk. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause and ask, is this thought rational? How would I advise a friend in this situation? 4. Embrace failure as a learning opportunity. View mistakes not as evidence of inadequacy, but as chances to grow and improve. 5. Practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledge your strengths and accomplishments, no matter how small. 6. Set realistic goals. Break larger goals into smaller, achievable steps to build confidence through consistent progress. 7. Cultivate virtue. Focus on developing positive character traits, wisdom, justice, courage, self-control, as the basis of your self-worth. Let me help you guys by providing an example to simplify it. Let's consider the story of Alex, a 28-year-old software developer. Despite being highly skilled, Alex constantly doubted his abilities. He hesitated to apply for promotions, convinced he wasn't ready. He rarely shared his ideas in team meetings, fearing they might be considered stupid. Even when he succeeded in projects, Alex attributed it to luck rather than competence. This self-doubt was holding Alex back in his career and personal life. He passed up growth opportunities, struggled with imposter syndrome, and often felt stressed and unfulfilled. The turning point came when Alex's mentor recommended a book on Stoic philosophy. Epictetus's teaching particularly struck Alex. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He realized he had let his self-doubt control his reactions to every situation. Inspired by Stoic principles, Alex began to reshape his approach. 1. He started a daily journaling practice, reflecting on his thoughts and actions. This helped him identify patterns in his self-doubt and the situations that triggered it. 2. Alex practiced focusing on what he could control. Before starting a project, he'd list what aspects were within his influence, his effort, learning, communication, and what weren't, others' opinions, unforeseen technical issues. This helped him direct his energy more productively. 3. He learned to reframe his negative self-talk. When the voice of doubt crept in, Alex would pause and ask, is this thought rational? What would I tell a friend in this situation? Often he realized his self-doubt was baseless or exaggerated. 4. Alex started embracing failure as a learning opportunity. When he made mistakes, instead of criticizing himself, he'd ask, what can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? 5. He began a gratitude practice, noting 3 daily things he was proud of. This helped him acknowledge his strengths and accomplishments, which he had often overlooked. 6. Alex set realistic incremental goals for himself. Instead of being overwhelmed by the idea of becoming a perfect developer, he focused on improving specific skills one at a time. 7. He started to focus on cultivating virtue in his work, striving for wisdom in his technical decisions, justice in his team interactions, courage in sharing his ideas, and self-control in managing his time and efforts. Over time, Alex noticed a significant shift. He felt more confident in team meetings and began to share his ideas more freely. He applied for and received a promotion, realizing that even if he didn't get it, the experience would be valuable. His work became more fulfilling as he focused on personal growth rather than external validation. Most importantly, Alex developed a stronger, more stable sense of self-worth. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By changing his perspective on self-doubt, Alex changed his entire career and life experience. Now, it's your turn to apply these Stoic principles to your self-doubt. Take a moment to identify an area of your life where you often experience self-doubt. Write it down, then ask yourself, 1. What aspects of this situation are within my control? 2. What would I say if I were advising a friend in this situation? 3. What's the worst that could happen, and how would I cope? 4. What strengths or past successes can I draw upon in this situation? Share your insights in the comments below. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate self-doubt, but to transform it from a paralyzing force into a tool for self-reflection and growth. As we move forward, keep in mind these words from Epictetus. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. In our next section, we'll confront the destructive habit of negative self-talk, exploring how Stoic wisdom can help us cultivate a more positive and empowering inner dialogue. Negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is the inner critic that constantly berates us, undermines our confidence, and colors our world perception. It's that persistent voice in our head that says things like, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess up," or "I'll never succeed." This internal dialogue can be so habitual that we often don't even realize we're doing it. The impact of negative self-talk can be profound. Lowered self-esteem and confidence, increased stress and anxiety, reduced motivation and productivity, self-fulfilling prophecies of failure, strained relationships due to projected insecurities, missed opportunities due to fear and self-doubt. Negative self-talk often stems from internalized criticism from others, past failures, or societal pressures. It can become a lens through which we view every experience, distorting our perception of reality and limiting our potential. The Stoics understood the power of our thoughts in shaping our reality. Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This insight is particularly relevant to negative self-talk. The Stoics emphasized the importance of rational thinking and self-examination. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By recognizing that our thoughts are under our control, we can begin to challenge and change our negative self-talk. Moreover, the Stoics practiced premeditation of evils, imagining worst-case scenarios to prepare for them mentally. When applied to negative self-talk, this technique can help us realize that even if our fears come true, we have the strength to handle the consequences. The Stoic concept of focusing on what's within our control is also crucial. We can build a more positive and empowering inner dialogue by concentrating on our thoughts and actions rather than external outcomes or others' opinions. Practical guide 1. Identify negative self-talk. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause and acknowledge it. 2. Challenge irrational thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought based on facts? Is there evidence to support or refute it? 3. Reframe negative statements. Turn "I can't do this" into "This is challenging, but I can learn and improve." 4. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the kindness you'd offer a good friend. 5. Use positive affirmations. Develop a list of realistic positive statements about yourself and repeat them regularly. 6. Focus on growth. Instead of fixating on perceived failures, ask, what can I learn from this? 7. Cultivate gratitude. Regularly acknowledge your strengths, accomplishments, and the positive aspects of your life. Example, meet Sophia, a 35-year-old marketing executive. On the surface, Sophia appeared successful and confident. However, her inner world was a battlefield of negative self-talk. Every minor setback triggered a barrage of self-criticism. I'm such an idiot. I'll never be good enough. Everyone must think I'm a fraud. This constant negativity was taking its toll. Sophia struggled with insomnia, experienced frequent anxiety attacks, and found herself hesitating to take on new challenges at work. Her relationships suffered as she projected her insecurities onto others, constantly assuming they were judging her as harshly as she judged herself. The turning point came when Sophia's therapist introduced her to Stoic philosophy. Epictetus's teaching particularly struck Sophia. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. She realized her negative self-talk was not an inevitable reaction to events, but a habit she could change. Inspired by Stoic principles, Sophia began to reshape her inner dialogue. 1. She started a thought log, writing down her negative self-talk throughout the day. This helped her become more aware of her patterns and triggers. 2. Sophia practiced challenging her irrational thoughts. When the voice of her inner critic arose, she'd pause and ask, is this thought based on facts? What evidence do I have for or against it? 3. She learned to reframe her negative statements. I'm such an idiot became, I made a mistake, and that's okay. What can I learn from this? 4. Sophia cultivated self-compassion. When facing challenges, she'd ask herself, how would I talk to a friend in this situation? And apply that kindness to herself. 5. She developed a list of positive affirmations based on her genuine strengths and values. Each morning, she'd repeat these to herself. I am capable and resilient. I learn and grow from challenges, and others' opinions do not determine my worth. 6. Sophia adopted a growth mindset. Instead of seeing setbacks as evidence of her inadequacy, she viewed them as opportunities for learning and improvement. 7. She started a daily gratitude practice, noting 3 things she was thankful for about herself or her life. This helped balance her tendency to focus on the negatives. Over time, Sophia noticed a significant shift. Her anxiety decreased, and she slept better at night. She felt more confident at work and began to take on new challenges with enthusiasm rather than fear. Her relationships improved as she became less defensive and more open. Most importantly, Sophia developed a kinder, more supportive relationship with herself. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By changing the color of her thoughts, Sophia transformed her entire life experience. Now, it's your turn to apply these Stoic principles to your negative self-talk. Take a moment to identify a common negative thought you have about yourself. Write it down. Then ask yourself, 1. Is this thought based on facts? What evidence do I have for or against it? 2. How would I rephrase this thought more positively and realistically? 3. If a friend expressed this thought about themselves, what would I say to them? 4. What can I learn? Or how can I grow from the situation that triggered this thought? Share your insights in the comments below. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts, but to develop a more balanced, rational, and compassionate inner dialogue. As we move forward, keep in mind these words from Seneca. If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. In our final section, we'll confront the pervasive habit of procrastination, exploring how Stoic wisdom can help us overcome inertia and take purposeful action. Procrastination. Procrastination, the habit of delaying or postponing tasks, is a common struggle that can significantly impact our productivity, goals, and overall well-being. It's not merely about poor time management. Procrastination often stems from deeper emotional and psychological factors. Procrastination manifests in various ways: putting off important tasks until the last minute, spending excessive time on trivial activities, avoiding challenging or uncomfortable tasks, starting projects but never finishing them, constantly making excuses for delays. The consequences of chronic procrastination can be severe: increased stress and anxiety, missed opportunities and deadlines, lower quality of work, damaged relationships and reputation, feelings of guilt and low self-esteem. At its core, procrastination is often a coping mechanism for dealing with negative emotions associated with a task: fear of failure, perfectionism, or feeling overwhelmed. The Stoics, emphasizing rational thinking and virtuous action, offer valuable insights for overcoming procrastination. They understood that our actions, not our intentions, define us. Epictetus wisely noted, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." This perspective encourages us to embrace the process of gradual progress rather than being paralyzed by the enormity of a task. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of focusing on what's within our control. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice." We can overcome procrastination by directing our attention to the present moment and our immediate actions. Moreover, the Stoic principle of virtue as the highest good can be a powerful motivator. When we align our actions with our values and see our work as a means of developing character, we're less likely to put things off. Practical Guide 1. Break tasks into smaller, manageable steps, making large projects less overwhelming. 2. Use the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Often you'll find momentum and continue beyond that. 3. Practice mindfulness. When you notice the urge to procrastinate, pause and observe the feeling without judgment. 4. Identify and challenge procrastination thoughts. Question the validity of excuses you make for delaying tasks. 5. Create a structured environment. Minimize distractions and set up your space to facilitate focus. 6. Use the Stoic negative visualization technique. Imagine the consequences of not completing the task to motivate action. 7. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Concentrate on taking consistent small actions rather than fixating on the end result. Meet James, a 40-year-old aspiring novelist. For years, James talked about writing a book but never seemed to make significant progress. He would start strong, writing for a few days or weeks, but inevitably, he'd find reasons to put it off. He was too busy, not inspired enough, or needed to do more research. James's procrastination was taking a toll. He felt guilty and frustrated with himself. His self-esteem suffered, and he began to doubt whether he'd ever achieve his dream. His relationships were strained as he grew defensive when friends or family asked about his writing progress. The turning point came when James attended a writing workshop where the instructor introduced Stoic principles for overcoming creative blocks. He was particularly struck by Epictetus's teaching. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. James realized that all his talk about writing was meaningless without consistent action. Inspired by Stoic wisdom, James began to reshape his approach. 1. He broke his book project into smaller, manageable tasks. Instead of write a novel, his daily goal became write 500 words. 2. James adopted the 5-minute rule. Even when he wasn't motivated, he committed to sitting at his desk and writing for just 5 minutes. Often, he'd find himself continuing well beyond that initial commitment. 3. He practiced mindfulness when the urge to procrastinate arose. Instead of immediately giving in to distractions, he'd pause and observe his feelings, often realizing that his reluctance was based on irrational fears. 4. James started challenging his procrastination thoughts. When he caught himself making excuses, he'd ask, "Is this really true? What evidence do I have?" 5. He created a dedicated writing space free from distractions and established a regular writing routine. 6. Using the Stoic negative visualization technique, James would vividly imagine his regret if years passed, and he never completed his novel. This motivated him to take action in the present. 7. James shifted his focus from the daunting task of writing a perfect novel to simply showing up each day and putting words on the page, embracing the process of gradual improvement. Over time, James noticed a significant shift. His daily word count increased, and he looked forward to his writing sessions rather than dreading them. A sense of accomplishment and progress replaced the guilt and frustration. Most importantly, James developed a stronger sense of self-efficacy and integrity. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By changing his approach to procrastination, James progressed in his novel and transformed his self-image and sense of purpose. Now, it's your turn to apply these Stoic principles to your own procrastination habits. Think of a task or goal you've been putting off. Write it down, then ask yourself, 1. How can I break this task into smaller, more manageable steps? 2. What's the most minor action I can take right now to make progress? 3. What thoughts or excuses typically lead me to procrastinate on this task? 4. How can I reframe this task to align with my values and long-term goals? Share your insights in the comments below. Remember, the goal isn't to achieve perfection overnight, but to consistently practice purposeful action. As we conclude our journey through these 7 habits to quit, keep in mind these words from Seneca. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. By applying Stoic wisdom to our daily lives, we can overcome these destructive habits and cultivate a life of purpose, resilience, and inner peace. As we reach the end of our Stoic journey through these 7 habits to quit, let's take a moment to reflect on the wisdom we've uncovered and the practical strategies we've explored. We began by addressing overthinking, learning to focus our mental energy on what truly matters. We then tackled the people-pleasing habit, recognizing the importance of staying true to our values. We explored how to let go of living in the past and instead embrace the present moment. We confronted the habit of constant worrying, discovering how to distinguish between what we can and cannot control. We delved into the challenge of self-doubt, finding ways to build genuine self-confidence based on our actions and character. We addressed the destructive power of negative self-talk, learning to cultivate a more compassionate and rational inner dialogue. Finally, we faced the pervasive habit of procrastination, uncovering Stoic strategies to take consistent, purposeful action. Throughout this journey, we've drawn upon the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Though centuries old, their insights remain remarkably relevant to our modern challenges. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This fundamental Stoic principle underlies all the strategies we've discussed. By focusing on what's within our control, our thoughts, judgments, and actions, we can transform our lives and find greater peace and fulfillment. But remember, as Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The value of these Stoic teachings lies not in understanding them intellectually, but in applying them consistently in our daily lives. So, I challenge you to choose one of these 7 habits that resonate most strongly with you. Commit to working on it for the next 30 days. Use the practical strategies we've discussed. Draw upon the Stoic wisdom we've explored and observe how it impacts your life. Here's a quick recap of the 7 habits to quit. 1. Overthinking. 2. Trying to please everyone. 3. Living in the past. 4. Worrying. 5. Doubting yourself. 6. Negative self-talk. 7. Procrastination. Which one will you focus on? Share your commitment in the comments below. Let's create a community of support and accountability as we embark on this Stoic journey of self-improvement. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. As Epictetus wisely noted, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and trust in gradual improvement. As we conclude, I'll leave you with these powerful words from Seneca. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Let this be our call to action, to live with purpose, to face our challenges with courage, and to embody the Stoic virtues in our daily lives. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. Until next time, stay solid and rational and strive for virtue. Remember, you can shape your thoughts, actions, and ultimately, your life. Use that power wisely. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Stoic Community. Together, let's continue our journey of growth and self-discovery through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Imagine you're standing in line at your local coffee shop. You've been waiting patiently for 10 minutes, and just as you're about to place your order, someone cuts in front of you, completely ignoring your presence. How do you react? Do you confront them angrily? Do you seethe in silence? Or is there a better way to handle such situations? Today, we're going to explore an ancient philosophy that offers a powerful approach to dealing with selfish people, Stoicism. But we won't just be talking about abstract concepts. Instead, we'll journey back to the Roman Empire, where this philosophy flourished, and see how 3 individuals from different walks of life applied Stoic principles to handle the selfish people they encountered. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand how Stoicism can help you navigate challenging interactions, whether dealing with demanding customers, toxic friends, or scheming colleagues. So, let's step into the sandals of our Roman counterparts and discover the timeless wisdom of the Stoics. Historical context. Before we meet our Roman friends, let's set the stage. Stoicism, founded in Athens around 300 BCE by Zeno of Citium, found its greatest expression in the Roman world. By the time of our story, in the 2nd century CE, it had become a dominant philosophical school, influencing everyone from enslaved people to emperors. The Stoics believed that virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control was the only true good, and that external circumstances, including the actions of others, were ultimately indifferent to our happiness. They taught us to focus on what's within our control, thoughts and actions, and accept what isn't, other people's behavior. 3 Stoic philosophers particularly stand out from this period. 1. Seneca, 4 BCE, 65 CE, a wealthy statesman and tutor to Emperor Nero, who wrote extensively on applying Stoic principles to daily life. 2. Epictetus, 135 CE, a formerly enslaved person who became a respected teacher, is known for his practical approach to Stoicism. 3. Marcus Aurelius, 121–180 CE, the philosopher-emperor, whose personal journal Meditations offers profound insights into Stoic thought. When dealing with difficult people, these Stoic thinkers offered consistent advice. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." Epictetus taught, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Be tolerant of others and strict with yourself." But how did ordinary Romans apply these lofty principles in their daily lives? Let's find out by meeting our first character, Lucius, a shopkeeper in the bustling port city of Ostia. Character 1. Lucius, the Roman shopkeeper. Lucius wakes before dawn, just as the first rays of sunlight paint the sky over Ostia's harbor. At 35, he's been running his small tabernae, or shop, for over a decade. He sells a variety of everyday goods, from oil and wine to bread and vegetables, to the residents of this busy port city. As he opens his shop, located on a narrow street just off the main square, Lucius takes a moment to reflect on the day ahead. He knows he'll encounter all sorts of customers today, some pleasant, some difficult, but he's prepared. Every morning he reads a passage from Epictetus's Enchiridion handbook, a popular summary of Stoic teachings. Today's passage reads, "Remember that it is not he who gives abuse or blows who insults, but the view we take of these things as insulting. When therefore anyone provokes you, be assured that it is your own opinion which provokes you." Lucius ponders these words as he arranges his wares. According to the Edict on Maximum Prices issued by Emperor Diocletian, though our story takes place earlier, we'll use these prices for illustration. He prices his goods as follows: a liter of ordinary wine, 8 denarii, a kilogram of pork, 12 denarii, a liter of olive oil, 40 denarii, best quality, a kilogram of wheat flour, 100 denarii, a bundle of vegetables, cabbage, lettuce, etc., 4 denarii each. It's only a short time before his first customer arrives. Claudia, a regular known for her sharp tongue and constant complaints. "Lucius," she barks, "your bread was stale yesterday. I demand a refund." In the past, such accusations would have angered Lucius, but now he takes a deep breath, remembering Epictetus's words. "It's not Claudia who provokes me," he thinks, "but my opinion of her words." Calmly, he replies, "I'm sorry to hear that, Claudia. While I can't offer a refund for bread bought yesterday, I can give you a fresh loaf today at half price. Would that be acceptable?" Claudia, taken aback by his calm demeanor, grudgingly agrees. As she leaves with her discounted bread, Lucius reflects on how differently this interaction went compared to their past encounters. But his stoic resolve is about to be tested even further. His next customer is Quintus, a wealthy merchant known for his arrogance and selfishness. Quintus strides into the shop, barely acknowledging Lucius. "I need 10 liters of your best olive oil," he announces, "and I'll pay 35 denarii per liter, not a denarius more." Lucius knows that 35 denarii is below his cost price. He might have argued with Quintus or even refused to serve him in the past. But now he sees this as an opportunity to practice Stoic virtue. "I appreciate your business, Quintus," Lucius says calmly. "However, the best quality olive oil costs me 38 denarii per liter. I can offer you an excellent oil at 35 denarii, or the best at 40 denarii, as per the imperial edict. Which would you prefer?" Quintus scowls. "Don't try to cheat me, shopkeeper. I know you can afford to sell at 35. Lucius takes another deep breath, reminding himself of Marcus Aurelius's words. "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone "I understand your position, Quintus," Lucius responds. "I'm not trying to cheat you, merely to run my business fairly. The choice is yours. Excellent oil at 35 denarii, or the best at 40. Both are fine oils that will serve you well." Quintus glares at Lucius for a moment, then grudgingly says, "Fine, the best oil at 40 denarii, but I'll remember this, Lucius." As Lucius measures out the oil, he reflects on how he handled this situation differently compared to his pre-Stoic days. He hasn't let Quintus's selfish behavior disturb his peace of mind, and he's stood firm in his principles without resorting to anger or rudeness. By midday, Lucius has dealt with several more difficult customers. 1. A group of rowdy sailors who tried to haggle aggressively on a bulk purchase of wine. Lucius calmly explained his pricing and offered a small discount for the large order, maintaining his composure. 2. A wealthy matron who accused him of shortchanging her. Lucius patiently recounted the transaction, even offering to count the money again before her, diffusing the situation with his calm demeanor. 3. A local bureaucrat who demanded preferential treatment, threatening to cause trouble with the local authorities if he didn't get it. Lucius politely but firmly insisted on treating all customers equally, reminding the officials of the imperial laws against abusing power. In each case, Lucius applied Stoic principles. 1. He focused on what was within his control, his reactions and behavior, rather than what wasn't, other people's actions. 2. He remembered that virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control was more important than temporary discomfort or financial gain. 3. He viewed each difficult interaction as an opportunity to practice and improve his character. As the sun reaches its zenith, Lucius takes a brief break to eat a simple lunch of bread, cheese, and olives. He reflects on his morning, feeling satisfied not because all his interactions went smoothly, but because he maintained his principles and peace of mind. He picks up his worn copy of Seneca's Letters from a Stoic and reads, "You ask what is the proper limit to a person's wealth. First, having what is essential, and second, having what is enough." Lucius smiles, realizing that he is indeed a wealthy man by this definition. He has enough to live comfortably, and more importantly, he has developed the inner resources to handle life's challenges with equanimity. As he prepares to reopen his shop for the afternoon crowd, Lucius feels ready for whatever and whoever comes his way. He knows that by applying Stoic principles, he can navigate the challenges of dealing with selfish people without losing his own integrity or peace of mind. In our next segment, we'll see how these same principles play out in the life of someone from a very different social class, Valeria, a wealthy Roman matron. But before we do, let's recap what we've learned from Lucius. 1. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, but changing our perspective on external events. 2. By focusing on our thoughts and actions rather than others' behavior, we can maintain our peace of mind, even in difficult situations. 3. Each challenging interaction allows us to practice virtue and improve our character. 4. True wealth lies not in material possessions, but in cultivating inner resources to handle life's challenges. Stay tuned as we continue our journey through Roman society, exploring how Stoicism can help us deal with selfish people from all walks of life. Character 2. Valeria, a wealthy Roman matron. As the first light of dawn filters through the silk curtains of her luxurious villa on Palatine Hill, Valeria Lucilla, a 40-year-old Roman matron of senatorial rank, begins her day. Born into wealth and married to an even wealthier senator, Valeria's life is one of privilege, but also of complex social obligations and interpersonal challenges. Valeria's morning ritual begins with a quiet moment of reflection, a practice she adopted after discovering the writings of Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher known for his progressive views on women's education. She reads from her personal collection of his lectures. Not men alone, but women too, have a natural inclination toward virtue and the capacity for acquiring it, and it is the nature of women no less than men to be pleased by good and just acts, and to reject the opposite of these. Strengthened by these words, Valeria prepares to face her day. Her first task is to oversee the household, which includes managing dozens of enslaved people and ensuring the smooth operation of her vast estate. The value of her home alone is estimated at several million sestertii, a sum that would take an average Roman century to earn. She notices some discrepancies as she reviews the household accounts with her steward. It appears that Quintus, one of her husband's friends who frequently dine at their home, has been helping himself to expensive wines from their cellar without permission. Previously, such selfish behavior from a social equal would have flustered Valeria, leaving her unsure how to respond without offending. But now, drawing on Stoic teachings, she reminds herself of Epictetus' words. When any person treats you ill or speaks ill of you, remember that he does this or says this because he thinks it is his duty. It is not possible then for him to follow that which seems right to you, but that which seems right to himself. With this perspective, Valeria decides to address the issue not with anger or accusation, but with calm assertiveness. She instructs her steward to keep a closer inventory of the wine and to politely inform Quintus that while he's always welcome to dine with them, any wine he wishes to take home must be purchased at market price. As midday approaches, Valeria prepares for one of her most challenging social obligations, hosting a luncheon for the wives of other prominent senators. While ostensibly friendly, these gatherings are often hotbeds of gossip, one-upmanship, and thinly veiled insults. Valeria's luncheon displays wealth and taste that would astound even upper-middle-class Romans. The dining room is adorned with frescoes and mosaics worth thousands of denarii. The table settings include silver plates and cups. A set of 100 pieces might cost around 4,000 denarii. And the menu features exotic dishes like peacock tongues and flamingo brains, each costing hundreds of denarii. As the guests arrive, Valeria greets each with genuine warmth, reminding herself of Marcus Aurelius's advice. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. During the luncheon, Valeria faces several challenges. 1. Livia, known for her sharp tongue, makes a snide comment about the quality of Valeria's silk curtains, which cost about 4,000 denarii for a set. Instead of responding defensively, Valeria thanks Livia for her keen eye for detail and asks for her opinion on redecorating, turning a potential conflict into a constructive conversation. 2. Claudia boasts about her husband's recent political victory, implying that Valeria's husband is less successful. Remembering Seneca's words, "All cruelty springs from weakness," Valeria responds with genuine congratulations, refusing to engage in the unspoken competition. 3. Octavia attempts to pry into a personal matter involving Valeria's sister, clearly fishing for gossip. Valeria deftly changes the subject, protecting her sister's privacy while maintaining social grace. Valeria maintains her composure throughout these interactions by focusing on what she can control, her thoughts and actions, rather than trying to manage others' behavior. She sees each challenging interaction as an opportunity to practice virtue and strengthen her character. After the luncheon, Valeria takes a moment to center herself before her next engagement, a visit to the public baths. Despite her wealth, she could easily afford a private bathhouse. Valeria believes in participating in public life, another principle she's adopted from Stoic philosophy. Valeria encounters women from various social classes at the baths, which cost her 1 denarius to enter, a small sum for her, but a day's wages for many Romans. She overhears some unflattering gossip about herself, likely spread by one of her luncheon guests. In the past, such talk would have upset her greatly. Now she recalls Epictetus's teaching. If you hear that someone is speaking ill of you, instead of trying to defend yourself, say, "He obviously does not know me very well, since there are so many other faults he could have mentioned." With this humorous and humble perspective, Valeria can let go of her concern about others' opinions and enjoy the relaxation of the baths. As evening falls and Valeria prepares for a dinner party at her home, where a single elaborate meal might cost upwards of 100,000 sestertii, she reflects on her day. She realizes that by applying Stoic principles, she's been able to navigate complex social situations with grace, maintain her integrity in the face of others' selfish behavior, and find a sense of tranquility amidst the pressures of her high society life. Valeria's story demonstrates that Stoicism isn't about renouncing wealth or social status, but about finding inner peace and living virtuously regardless of external circumstances. Whether dealing with household issues, social rivalries, or public gossip, Valeria shows how Stoic principles can be applied to handle selfish behavior in even the most privileged echelons of society. Character 3. Marcus, the Roman senator. As the sun rises over the 7 hills of Rome, Marcus Aurelius Quintus, a 45-year-old senator, prepares for another day in the Roman Senate. Despite his high status, Marcus faces numerous challenges, particularly in dealing with selfish and ambitious colleagues who often prioritize personal gain over the welfare of the Republic. Marcus begins his day by reading from his personal journal, inspired by the meditations of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, no relation. Today's entry reads, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine." With these words in mind, Marcus dons his senatorial toga, which costs around 4,000 denarii, a sum that would take a common laborer years to earn. He's acutely aware of the privilege his position brings, and with it, the responsibility to serve the public good. As Marcus enters the Senate, he's immediately confronted by Gaius Septimius Bassus, a notoriously selfish and corrupt senator. Bassus is pushing for a new tax law that would benefit wealthy landowners like himself, while burdening the common people. "Marcus, my friend," Bassus says with an oily smile, "I trust I can count on your support for the new tax proposal. It would be mutually beneficial." In the past, such blatant self-interest might have angered Marcus, but now, remembering his morning reflection, he sees Bassus not as an enemy, but as a misguided individual who can't tell good from evil. "Gaius," Marcus replies calmly, "I appreciate your confidence in me. However, I believe our duty is to serve all Roman citizens, not just the wealthy. Perhaps we could discuss how to modify the proposal to benefit a broader range of people." Bassus scowls, but Marcus remains unperturbed. He knows that maintaining his principles without resorting to anger or insults makes him more likely to influence others positively. Throughout the day, Marcus faces several more challenges. 1. A group of senators attempt to bribe him with a gift of rare Falernian wine, valued at 30 denarii per sextarius, about 0.5 liters, to support their proposal for a new aqueduct that would primarily serve their estates. 2. A rival senator publicly accuses Marcus of incompetence in managing the grain supply, a crucial responsibility in keeping Rome's population fed and content. 3. The emperor's favorite, known for his selfish ambition, tries to pressure Marcus into supporting an unnecessary and expensive military campaign that would bring glory to the emperor, but hardship to the people. In each situation, Marcus applies Stoic principles. 1. He politely declines the wine, explaining that while he appreciates the gesture, he must make decisions based on merit alone. He suggests using the funds for the wine to subsidize grain for the poor instead. 2. Instead of responding angrily to the public accusation, Marcus calmly presents the facts about the grain supply, demonstrating his competence while refusing to engage in personal attacks. 3. With the emperor's favorite, Marcus respectfully but firmly presents a cost-benefit analysis of the proposed campaign, emphasizing the potential hardships for Roman citizens. He suggests alternative ways to honor the emperor that would benefit the people. By the end of the day, Marcus has maintained his integrity and potentially influenced others towards more ethical behavior. As he returns home, he reflects on a quote from Epictetus: "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." He realizes that by living his Stoic principles, he's had a greater impact than any speech or argument could have achieved. So far, we've seen through the lives of Lucius, the shopkeeper, Valeria, the wealthy matron, and Marcus, the senator, that Stoic philosophy offers powerful tools for dealing with selfish people across all levels of society. These principles helped our Roman friends navigate their challenging social landscapes, from dealing with difficult customers to managing political rivalries. But how can we apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives? Modern-day context. While we no longer wear togas or trade in denarii, the challenges of dealing with selfish people remain remarkably similar in our modern world. Let's explore how the Stoic approaches we've learned can apply to contemporary situations. 1. The modern Lucius, retail and customer service. Imagine Sarah, a barista at a busy coffee shop in New York City. Like Lucius, she deals with a wide range of customers daily, some pleasant and some difficult. One morning, a businessman storms in, cutting the line and demanding immediate service because he's in a hurry. In Lucius's time, this might have been a wealthy merchant throwing his weight around. Sarah, drawing on Stoic principles, remains calm. She politely but firmly explains the fairness of serving customers in order. Sarah maintains her composure and upholds the shop's policies by focusing on what she can control, her reaction, rather than what she can't, the customer's behavior. Later, a customer complains about their latte, insisting it's not what they ordered even though Sarah is sure she made it correctly. Instead of becoming defensive, Sarah channels Marcus Aurelius. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. She apologizes for the inconvenience and offers to remake the drink, turning a potential conflict into an opportunity to demonstrate excellent customer service. 2. The modern Valeria, navigating social media. In our digital age, the social pressures Valeria faced have amplified through social media. Consider Emma, a marketing executive who, like Valeria, feels the pressure to maintain a specific image. Emma's Instagram feed is filled with acquaintances showing off expensive vacations, designer clothes, and seemingly perfect lives. She feels the urge to compete and prove her worth through similar posts. But remembering Seneca's words, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, Emma takes a step back. She realizes that these curated images don't represent real life any more than Valeria's elaborate dinner parties represented the everyday reality of ancient Rome. Instead of getting caught up in this digital keeping up with the Joneses, Emma decides to limit her social media use and focus on real-world relationships and experiences that bring her genuine satisfaction. When a colleague posts a subtly boastful comment on one of Emma's work achievements, attempting to take partial credit, Emma resists the urge to respond defensively. Instead, she thanks the colleague for their contribution to the project, demonstrating grace and teamwork rather than engaging in a petty online squabble. 3. The modern Marcus, workplace politics. John, a middle manager at a large corporation, faces challenges similar to those faced by Senator Marcus. He must navigate office politics, deal with selfish colleagues, and maintain his integrity in a competitive environment. During a team meeting, a co-worker tries to take credit for John's idea. Rather than interrupting or becoming visibly angry, John remembers Epictetus. You are not your body and hairstyle, but your capacity for choosing well. If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be. He calmly acknowledges his co-worker's contribution while clearly restating his original idea. By choosing to respond with grace rather than anger, John maintains his professional reputation and sets a positive example for his team. Later, John is pressured by his supervisor to fudge some numbers in a report to make the department look better. Like Marcus refusing to support corrupt legislation, John must stand firm in his principles. He respectfully but firmly explains why he can't comply, offering to work on strategies to improve the department's performance. By focusing on long-term integrity over short-term gain, John embodies the Stoic virtue of courage. 4. The Stoic approach to modern technology. Our Roman friends didn't have to deal with the constant pings of smartphones or the endless scroll of social media feeds. These modern inventions can amplify selfish behavior and make it harder to maintain our composure. Consider how a Stoic might approach these challenges. Constant connectivity. Just as Marcus chose which social engagements to attend, we can decide when to be available online. Setting boundaries around device use is a modern application of Stoic self-discipline. Information overload. With news and opinions constantly at our fingertips, it's easy to become overwhelmed. A Stoic approach would involve carefully choosing our sources of information and remembering Epictetus's advice. Don't just say you have read books. Show that through them you have learned to think better. Online arguments. Social media can be a breeding ground for conflict. Before engaging in an online debate, we might ask ourselves, as Marcus Aurelius did, is this essential? Often, the Stoic choice is to disengage from unproductive arguments. FOMO, fear of missing out. The fear of missing out on events or opportunities can drive us to overcommit or make choices that don't align with our values. A Stoic would remind us to focus on what truly matters, not fleeting experiences or possessions. 5. Stoicism and modern self-care. In our fast-paced world, self-care has become a popular concept. Interestingly, many modern self-care practices align closely with Stoic principles, mindfulness and meditation. The Stoic practice of daily reflection is similar to modern mindfulness techniques. Both involve stepping back from our immediate reactions to gain a broader perspective. Gratitude practices. Seneca advised, "Count your years, and you will be ashamed to desire or indulge in the same things as you did as a youth." This aligns with modern gratitude practices that encourage us to appreciate what we have rather than always wanting more. Journaling. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was essentially a personal journal. Today, many people find similar benefits in journaling as a way to process thoughts and emotions. Voluntary discomfort. Some Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort to build resilience. Modern equivalents might include cold showers, fasting, or digital detoxes, practices that strengthen our ability to handle discomfort and reduce our dependence on external comforts. In conclusion, while the specifics of our daily challenges may have changed since ancient Rome, the fundamentals of human nature and the wisdom of Stoicism remain remarkably relevant. By applying Stoic principles to our modern lives, we can navigate the complexities of our digital age with the same grace and resilience that Lucius, Valeria, and Marcus demonstrated in their time. Whether we're dealing with demanding customers, navigating social media pressures, managing office politics, or simply trying to maintain our peace of mind in a chaotic world, the Stoic approach offers timeless strategies for keeping our integrity, focusing on what truly matters, and finding contentment regardless of external circumstances. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In our modern world, full of distractions and driven by instant gratification, this ancient wisdom may be more valuable than ever. As we conclude our journey through time, from the bustling streets of ancient Rome to the digital landscape of the 21st century, we've seen how the Stoic approach to dealing with selfish people has remained remarkably relevant and powerful. Take a look at what we've learned so far. 1. From Lucius, the shopkeeper, we discovered the importance of maintaining our composure in the face of demanding customers. His ability to stay calm and focused on what he could control, his own actions and reactions, is just as valuable for today's retail workers as it was in ancient Rome. 2. Valeria, the wealthy matron, showed us how to navigate social pressures and maintain our integrity in a world obsessed with status. Her lessons on finding true fulfillment through virtue rather than external validation are particularly poignant in our age of social media and constant comparison. 3. Marcus, the senator, demonstrated how to uphold our principles in the face of corruption and self-interest, a skill as crucial in modern boardrooms as it was in the Roman Senate. His example reminds us that true leadership is about serving others, not ourselves. 4. In our modern context, we've seen how these ancient principles can help us navigate the complexities of digital communication, workplace politics, and the constant barrage of information and stimuli that characterize our contemporary world. However, perhaps the most striking aspect of our journey is how little human nature has changed over the centuries. The selfish merchant trying to undercut Lucius' prices isn't so different from the pushy customer demanding special treatment at a coffee shop. Valeria's social climbers bear a striking resemblance to today's Instagram influencers, and Marcus's corrupt fellow senators could easily be transplanted into a modern political scandal. This consistency in human behavior is precisely why Stoic philosophy remains so relevant. Its insights into human nature and practical strategies for maintaining our integrity and peace of mind are as applicable today as they were 2,000 years ago. However, it's important to note that adopting a Stoic approach doesn't mean becoming a pushover or accepting mistreatment. On the contrary, as we've seen with our Roman friends and their modern counterparts, Stoicism provides tools for standing firm in our principles and addressing issues calmly and effectively. In economic terms, we might say that Stoicism offers an excellent return on investment. The time and effort we put into cultivating Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control, paid dividends in terms of reduced stress, better relationships, and a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. Just as Lucius found that his Stoic practice was more valuable than any goods in his shop, and Marcus realized that his integrity was worth more than any bribe, we too might find that the inner wealth cultivated through Stoic practice is far more valuable than any external possessions or status symbols. As we face our challenges with selfish people, whether it's a problematic coworker, a demanding family member, or a toxic friend, we can draw inspiration from our Roman friends. We can focus on what we can control, maintain our principles without resorting to anger, and view each challenging interaction as an opportunity to practice virtue and improve our character. In doing so, we may find, as Seneca did, that the willing, fate leads on. The unwilling, fate drags along. By willingly embracing the Stoic approach, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience, turning potential sources of frustration into opportunities for growth. Remember, you have a choice the next time you encounter a selfish person. You can react with anger or frustration, allowing their behavior to disturb your peace of mind. Or you can channel your inner Stoic, be it Lucius, Valeria, or Marcus, and respond with calm reason, maintaining your integrity and potentially influencing others positively. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By cultivating this inner strength, we can face selfish people and other life challenges with serenity, wisdom, and grace. As we close, consider this. If our Roman friends could apply these principles in a world of togas and chariots, how might you apply them in your life today? The power of Stoicism lies not in reading about it, but in living it. So as you go about your day, facing your own Claudias, Bassuses, or digital age challenges, remember the lessons of Lucius, Valeria, and Marcus. You too have the power to choose your response, to focus on what you can control, and to find tranquility amidst the chaos of selfish behavior. In the words of Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. How will you choose to react?